The words of power, the tools of a creator race. Haedraline spoke of them as though they could shape worlds, and perhaps they had. With these in hand, victory would not be far behind, or so it was thought. While Gend searched for the ancient relics, Morgrim's army pressed their attacks against Neverwinter. Their dark magics and sheer numbers soon overwhelmed the defenders. The betrayer, Erebeth, was at the forefront when the walls were breached. The words of power, once thought safe within Castle Never, were in danger of falling to the enemy. And behind the invasion, an even greater evil, Morag, Queen of the Old Ones, had awoken.
Hello everybody, this is Cyric1983 and welcome back to Neverwinter Nights. It looks like Lord Nasher wants to talk to us, but yes, we have Sharwin with us. But we can actually tell her to level up.
Yes? Is there some...
And she becomes a level 14 bard, and she's probably got one heck of a bard song if you ever need it, so... But I probably won't, so...
Yes? Is this...
let's let her go. Besides, I like her pretty face. And she's a redhead too, so... Alright, yeah, let's talk to Lord Nasher and see what he has to say.
We meet again. As you know, I am Nasher Alagonda, Lord of Neverwinter. I was once an adventurer like you, though that was long ago. Gend tells me you have done much in the defense of our city. For this I thank you, though I fear it was all in vain. Erebeth knows our defenses too well. We could not stand against her forces. The enemy has breached our walls. All is lost.
Do not give up hope, my lord. We still have the words of power, after all.
And what good has that done, Erin? We have no way to use them. Whatever magic is locked within those stone tablets is of no use to us.
Perhaps Haedraline will reveal their secret to us, if you release her from the dungeons.
I don't trust that creature, Erin, and neither should you. We have done her no harm. If she was truly our ally, she would tell us what she knows.
Haedraline told us about the secret door beneath Castle Never. Without her, we would never have found the Source Stone.
And what good has that done, Erin? That creature won't tell us anything about it. The Source Stone is as useless to us as the words of power.
Perhaps Haedraline will speak to our champion. She has spoken with them before.
Enough, Erin. Now, if you want to speak to Haedraline, you are free to do so. But I will not release her from the dungeon while an enemy is within our city gates. Personally, I think this is all a waste of time. Words of power, the Source Stone, Haedraline. What good is this against Erebeth's army? Our fate is sealed. We are all doomed.
Lord Nasher, may I ask you some questions?
After all you have done for the city, the least I can do is answer your questions. Although Gend probably knows more than I do.
What can you tell me about Haedraline?
We captured the lizard woman slinking around the city shortly after Luskan attacked. After Erebeth's betrayal, I'm not too trusting. So we are keeping her locked in a cell in a dungeon. She was hissing and babbling about Morgrim wanting the words of power and the Source Stone, but we couldn't get much else out of her. She's half mad, I fear, and doesn't seem to trust us. Gend seems to think she might trust you, though. You're free to speak with her in the dungeons if you wish.
Where can I find Haedraline?
She's locked away in the castle dungeon. Just head south and down the stairs.
I'll ask you something else.
Gend can probably answer your questions better than I, but I'll help you if I can.
What can you tell me about the words of power that were brought here earlier?
I've given them to Master Ford, Chief Archaeologist of Neverwinter. He seems to think there's some link between the words and the Source Stone. Initially, I hoped he could figure out how to unleash their power. But even as wise as Master Ford is, he hasn't been able to learn anything more about the words of power or the Source Stone.
Where can I find Master Ford?
Since we discovered the Source Stone in the secret chambers beneath Castle Never, Master Ford has spent all his time studying it. You can go speak to him to see what he's discovered if you wish. Though you might have more luck getting information from that creature Haedraline if you can get her to talk.
Yeah, ask you something else.
Gend can probably answer your questions better than I, but I'll help you if I can.
What can you tell me about the Source Stone?
When we first captured Haedraline, she said something about the Source Stone and secret chambers beneath Castle Never. She sounded half crazy, but I thought it was worth looking into. I put Master Ford, Neverwinter's leading archaeological expert, in charge of the search. He unearthed a previously undiscovered chamber beneath the castle. Inside was an enormous crystalline boulder, the Source Stone. If you want to know more about it, you should speak with Master Ford.
Will do. Ask you something else.
Gend can probably answer your questions better than I, but I'll help you if I can.
What's the latest news from the battle lines?
The reports are grim. In the initial assault, Luskan overwhelmed us with sheer numbers and the unbridled ferocity of their attack. The defenders were forced to fall back to the city core. Erebeth knew our defenses too well. We never stood a chance. My troops are loyal, but against such odds, there's little hope. It's only a matter of time until Castle Never itself falls.
What if I could kill Erebeth and Malgrim?
It is too late for that, I fear. Our defenses are already broken. The damage has been done. If Erebeth and Mogrim were both slain, there is a chance it might break the spirits of the Luskan invaders. But I wouldn't count on it. The Luskans attacked with a rage and ferocity I have never seen before. Some sinister force drives our enemies forward. Or perhaps this is justice of a sort. Neverwinter may have brought this doom upon itself.
What do you mean?
The blood of Fenthic is on my hands. After the plague, the mob cried for blood, and I gave it to them. Fenthic was guilty only of trusting Desta. He was no enemy of Neverwinter. And yet I saw him hanged for failing to protect the city, as was his sworn duty. Can we really be so surprised Erebeth betrayed us after we executed her lover?
What is done, Lord Nasher. No sense dwelling on it now.
That is what I tell myself over and over, but the words are hollow to my own ears. I only wanted to do what was best for Neverwinter, to heal the wounds left by the Wailing Death. Yet even as I passed sentence on Fenthic, I knew in my heart it was wrong. This was not justice. Fenthic died to feed the city's lust for revenge. And now Neverwinter shall fall to an army that was raised to feed Erebeth's own vengeance. Perhaps that is justice.
Perhaps you can atone for what you have done.
I fear it is too late for that. Fenthic is dead and Erebeth... Perhaps if I were given the chance to pass judgment again, I would act differently, more mercifully. But I fear that chance shall never come. I must live with the burden of what I have done, as must my city. Neverwinter will fall.
I should be going now.
Of course, of course. But before you go, maybe Gend is right. Maybe you should go speak to this Haedraline creature. I doubt it will do much good, but maybe, just maybe, she knows something that can save us. We're desperate, after all. Any important information you come across should be reported directly to Aaron Gend. I've placed him in charge of the defense of the city.
Alrighty, well, let's find out what Aaron has to say.
These are indeed dark times, though not so dark as Lord Nasher portrays them. The people of Neverwinter are made of sterner stuff than any of us imagine. But if Neverwinter is to survive, we must all play our part. My place is here by Lord Nasher's side. I must oversee every aspect of the defense of the city. And your own part is one you know all too well. You must save Neverwinter once more, though how you might accomplish this I cannot say. Perhaps the creature Haedraline knows something of this.
I want to ask you some questions.
I once knew every secret in this city, but these are turbulent times, and even I am left stumbling in the dark. Yet, I will tell you whatever I can.
And those first four questions, he basically says the exact same thing as what Nasher says, just in a little more less harsh tones. So let's ask him about Erebeth. I want to ask you about Erebeth.
It pains me to talk of her. There was a time when I considered her a champion of Neverwinter, and I called her friend. Her betrayal struck us all hard, especially Lord Nasher. He will not admit it, but I imagine the situation was made even worse by the guilt he felt over Fenthic's execution. I make no excuses for Erebeth's actions, but seeing the cheering crowds at her lover's execution might very well be what turned her against the city. But now is not the time to discuss whether Erebeth's actions were justified. We must stay focused on finding a way to save the city.
I should be going now.
You should speak to Haedraline before you go. Maybe she will tell you something about the Source Stone or the Words of Power. My instincts tell me that she is the key if Neverwinter is to be saved. And I have learned to trust my instincts.
Indeed he has. Alright, so I guess we'd better go talk to Haedraline. Yeah, this episode's gonna be nothing but talk, but lots of story, and wow, just... I can only imagine how Lord Nasher feels. I'm sure he even feels a bit responsible for what's happening to Neverwinter. And there's Haedraline.
Good day.
Just hold on there, sir. This here's the prison and it's for the prisoners. See, you better be speaking to me if you want to be speaking to them. Lord Nasher sent me to interrogate the prisoner. Oh, you must be that man Nasher sent down, right? Go on in, sir. Alrighty, let's talk to her.
I have been waiting for you. These other warm bloods are weak. I do not trust them. They are weak, like the ones you call Erebeth and Mogrim. They cannot stand against the creators, now that Morag stirs within the Source Stone. Mogrim has unlocked the magic of the Words of Power. The Old Ones awake, and the world you know shall be no more.
But the Words of Power are safe here in Castle Never.
3 of the words are here in this castle. But there are 4 words of power in all. Mogrim has found the final word, strongest of them all. I came here to warn your people against Morag's return, but the Warmbloods do not trust me. They cast me into this dungeon. Do not waste time trying to free me from this prison. It serves no purpose. Instead, you must help me stop Morag's return before the Old Ones awake and I am made a word slave once more.
What must I do?
The 4th word is close. I can feel its power. Mogrim and Erebeth brought it here to this city you call Neverwinter. Bring the word to me. I am Haedraline, leader of the Word Slaves. With the final word, I can break Morag's power and trap her forever inside the Source Stone.
I will return once I have the final word of power.
You must hurry. With each passing hour, Morag's power grows. Soon, I will not be strong enough to stop my queen from awakening her people.
Whoa. Alright. Well, there's a couple of things we can loot around here. That leads to the Source Stone down there, but I'm not going there just yet, because we've got lots that we can still do. Well, lots in terms of how small this chapter is, but there's actually even a couple of side quests we can do, but let's worry about that later. Or now, I guess, but yeah, alright. Anyway, so yeah, it sounds like things are... well, we just got caught up on what's going on here in Neverwinter. Sounds like the 3 words of power we found last chapter are not all of them. Oh, of course. Alright. A couple more things we can loot, and then I guess I'll call it quits, and then we'll go out to see what Neverwinter looks like. Another potion of bolstering. Nice. Not that I need it anymore.
Pray.
And there are a few shops that are still open in the city, so yeah, I'll I'll point them out to you next episode. So if you ever need to come back to sell anything, you can. And we will reach level 17 with flying colors before the end of the game. Believe me, the amount of experience you get, wow, it's insane. But, and I think there's one more. Yep, just the desk. And 47 gold. Alright, so that's it for this episode. So the next episode, we'll be heading outside of Castle Never and see what Neverwinter itself looks like since the war started. This is Cyric 1983 signing off. Thank you for watching, and have a good one.